Hello, everyone. We are starting with our graph project today. And Isabel and I'm Elizabeth, and we have a an article here that is a sensory integration based. It is a single subject research design, and so that is why we have chosen it. We just need this article for our preliminary research. And so when we do our graphs, we pulled our information from this graph right here. And so these are where we got our data points, and we kind of had to make up some other data points along the way, whether we were doing a alternative research design or a multiple graph. So now I need to do screen share to my Excel sheet here. And we are going to make our graphs based on those research. So we've got our, this is what they'll look like. I'll go through the steps of what they look like. So this would be an ABAB. Then we have our alternating treatment and our multiple baseline. And so I'll kind of walk through of putting all this data in the Excel sheet, making the graph so that you'll have an idea of how to do it when you do it. Okay, so for our first article, we're going to do the ABAB, and this is the, I guess for our first graph, sorry, and this graph that we have came from our actual article itself. And so these data points we pulled from our article, and our other graphs that we're going to make, we kind of had to make up as we went along. So that'll make sense when it comes time to show you all that one. So for the first one, we have our AIRS, which is the sensory integration approach, and then we have the no intervention. And so this is how you're going to want to set up your data into Excel so that you can make the graph itself. And so once you have all of the data points here like this, you're going to highlight it, and then you're going to go to Insert, and then you're going to choose the second one where it has the line, and then you're going to go over to line with markers. And then that is going to come up with your graph. And so you'll want to remember to delete this, and then we're going to title it ABAB with baseline. Is that correct, Isabel?
I don't think you have to say with baseline because that's what in an
Oh,
A.
the AB. Okay. And then here I already have text boxes that are already in place. And so this is going to say, for here, this is the number of session. So we'll just label that session. And then here, this, which I'll rotate this back so that I can type in, and then we'll rotate it back over. And then this is going to be the number of behavior. So if you were to read the article, you would see that really they were looking at the number of behavioral kind of problems that were occurring. And so you can see that with the AIRS versus the no intervention, you have a difference in all of that. And so that is the ABAB. And before we move on to the next one, you'll also want to remember to put in lines that run vertically. And so you'll want to go to Insert, Illustrations, and then Shapes. And then there is a line right here. So you can plop that in. And you'll want to make this as straight as possible.
Libs, one more element that you could add is above each of the lines, like under where it says ABAB, you can put small text boxes to say like that first blue line.
A1, B1.
Yeah, you could. But for the purposes of this, we're going to leave that off.
Okay. And then you will just put that in right here. And that is how you make the AB graph. Okay, for the next one, we are going to make our alternating treatment. In our alternating treatment, we have set up where we have no intervention, or this can be titled baseline, and you put in a few data points. This sensory right here is really the AIRS approach. And then we have co-op and motor learning. So these are two other different intervention strategies that you will all learn later, especially in PEDS. They will come up time and time again. But for now, you just come up with one or two different types of intervention strategies. And so once you have all of the data inputted, and remember the AIRS is what came from our article itself, and this is what we kind of made up itself. And so we wanted to differentiate the data a little bit, and so you can see that the numbers are slightly different between all of that. And so we'll again highlight all of our data, go back up to insert, the same line with markers, and then you will have your graph. And here again, you'll want to, I don't know why my computer always does that. We'll go back one more time to my chart title. This is all that I want to delete. So we can name it alternating treatment.
This one you can put with baseline.
Okay, this is the one with the baseline. Thank you. I'm like, I remember making one with the baseline because this right here is the baseline. These are your different treatments, as you will see again. This one is the AIRS approach, and then co-op and motor learning. So we have that. You'll want to, again, go back to insert, illustrations, shapes with the line, so we can separate these points in time with this line.
And for this one, you'll want to put the line at the very last data point of the baseline to show that like that's where it ended.
Yes. So you'll just move that over. I just hit my arrows and my computer itself, so you can do that. And then for this one, you want the text box again to show that this is the session number, and then this you'll want to show that that is number of behavior incidents. So this is just going to be sessions, basically show sessions across time, all of these data points, and then you'll want to insert the text box again to label your x-axis right here. And this one is the behavior incidents.
Mm-hmm.
Behavior incidents. So that one, we'll rotate it and bring it over this way.
Perfect.
And we'll want to kind of make that as straight as possible. So that is your alternating treatment with a baseline. And the last one is going to be the multiple baseline. So this, we have it set up with the multiple baseline across subjects, where the no behavior versus the ARIES, it's really going to be, this is person one's data and this is person's two. And as you can see, for one or the other, you have for the first one less of a baseline, and for the second one you have more of a baseline, but they end up having the same amount of data points, because with the multiple baseline across subjects or across treatment, whatever it is, one person is going to be in the baseline phase for longer, and then they ease into it, which you have learned. So for this one, you highlight, start over that, technical difficulties. So you'll highlight this data point first. Again, you're going to go into the insert line with markers, because that is what we love to do. And then for the second one, you will do the same thing. I don't know why that did that. We will highlight all of that. I'm going to try from the bottom this time. There we go. So that's all highlighted. Insert line with markers. And then for this one right here. So for this, what we want to do is cover this up and put that right there, because that shows that they are across time. This one, we deleted that chart title, and here we are going to rename this one, and this one is multiple baselines across subjects. And then what we'll want to do is insert, go back to the illustrations, do the shapes, and we're going to insert this line. So we'll insert first a vertical line here to show that. We'll move that over because we'll show the differentiating between the two. And then again, what we'll want to do is over horizontally now to this data point. And then lastly, we are going to plot in here. After this one's done, I'm going to move this one over slightly. You want to make it so that it's all kind of touching too, but you can see that it's going here, here, and here to differentiate between the fact that there are two different subjects, the same time frame. One was in the baseline time a little bit longer than the other. And lastly, we are going to insert the text box so that we can label our X and Y axis. Again, session, so over the different sessions. This is the change, and then our last one here, where we do this, and this is going to be the, again, it's the behavior incident or just Aries in general. And then we rotate that this way, and we will move that over. And that is the graph construction. I hope that helps with how to create your graphs.